Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to a new video. And I've had a lot of you ask me in the comments to talk about the proposed features being pushed to cars as soon and early as 2027. In some cases, government mandated and a little intrusive, a little bit breaching on privacy and a lot of control, and almost to the point that they're removing our ability to drive our cars the way we want to drive them and enjoy them. On the other hand, many people believe, and I kind of agree to some small extent, don't kill me in the comments, that some of these things are really cool and will absolutely save lives. What I would like is for them to be optionable and to be able to turn them off, to be able to not have them if you don't want to. And as long as the customer can choose whether to have them or not, then that's kind of okay with me. The problem I have also is that all these things cost lots and lots of money. And with the price creep we've seen just over the last 5 years, the prices on these cars is getting ridiculous. And what's going to happen is cars are going to continually get so expensive that the only sense it'll make to get one of these things would be to lease it, because depreciation is going to crash. Why? Because technology doesn't hold value, because it becomes obsolete almost as fast as it comes out, leaving all of these additional features not adding value to the cars. In many cases, taking away value, because the cost to repair these things as these high-tech features fail over the years and as warranties expire and time continues, leaves you with a car that is too expensive to fix, or in some cases impossible to fix because the technology is obsolete and no longer supported. These are problems. Let me share with you what's coming, what we're going to have to deal with, and some thoughts on these things. So the first one, driver monitoring impaired driving detection. That's the most talked about, and that one, I've got it. I've got some features of this in my 2025 Prius where along the top of the steering wheel, there are sensors that are staring at me the entire time. And if my hand goes on the top of the steering wheel at the 12 o'clock position, then it starts to beep at me and tells me it can't see my face and thinks that I'm falling asleep or nodding off or not looking at the road, and it can get irritating. Now, I believe in that car I can turn it off. I leave it on because, frankly, with all the miles I do, every bit of safety and technology I can embrace can hopefully help me avoid all the obstacles that I encounter on the road. But let's talk about this one. Infrared cabin cameras, eye tracking, so that's on my Prius, head position monitoring, that's on the Prius already, drowsiness detection, it's been around a long time, steering behavior analysis, possible passive alcohol detection, and ability to prevent the vehicle from driving if impairment is detected. Critics are calling that a kill switch. Honestly, the biggest concern I have out there, having a family, is drunk drivers. And I worry that as my daughter's coming home from a movie late at night, that somebody ends up hitting her drunk, and those idiots always survive. So part of me thinks if that car could keep somebody from driving it, that'd be great. I worry that any sense of alcohol that the car would suspect, let's say it's using the breathalyzer technology that can sniff this stuff out, that if anybody else in your car is drunk, that you ain't going to be able to go anywhere. I don't know how the tech works, but let me know what you think about that feature. A lot of it's already on some cars, but they're talking about making these things absolutely mandatory in the future. How about this? Mandatory automatic emergency braking. Now, I have that. I have it on a couple of our new cars, and it's the most terrifying thing in the world when it decides to kick in, especially when backing out of the driveway. But in going forward, even my little freaking Prius will tell me when there's somebody in the street and will want to stop. So in this case, they're talking about making it mandatory. And here's the capabilities. Detect cars ahead. So when I'm at a stoplight, if I start to creep the car, the whole dash lights up screaming that there's cross traffic and not to go, to the extent that if I try to go, that car is going to stop itself. Detect pedestrians. Well, with everybody being on their phones nowadays, I kind of feel like I would be okay with everyone other than me having that feature, because I worry that we're just getting too distracted in our lives. But this does encroach on control. Brake automatically, work at higher highway speeds than older systems. So right now, a lot of these things do not work at higher speeds. It's only at low speeds or stoplights. And like it says here, many automakers already include this, but they're talking about making these stricter, more standardized, and mandatory. What do you think about that? How about this? More advanced driver attention cameras. We talked about this in the first one, but it's like Tesla Autopilot scrutiny, GM Auto or Super Cruise, Ford Blue Cruise. Insurance Institute safety pressure is being inflicted. Cars are increasingly expected to verify your eyes are on the road, detect distraction, warn or disengage assisted driving systems. And I hate to say it. I mean, I hate all the extra tech on there, but it does come in handy on my Prius sometimes. But it also encroaches on some privacy. These cars are watching us. 4, event data recorders, black box expansion. Modern cars already store crash data, but future rules may expand. In 2027, camera footage storage, driver input logging, speed braking history, ADAS usage records, especially for self-driving investigations, insurance disputes, and crash reconstruction. A lot of you have told me after the last situation with my daughter's accident that we should have dash cameras in her car. And I agree. And we're going to add them. I'm actually this weekend, I'm probably going to add dash cams to at least 2 more of our cars as a result of that. Because the prior rear end collision she got into, the lady lied and said my daughter changed lanes despite having a witness that she didn't. And they gave 50% fault. Her insurance company did. We got found not at fault. But a dash camera would have absolved that. But I don't believe a dash camera really serves much purpose if it's only front facing. You got to have the rear window. You got to have the rear view because so many rear end collisions. And then these people try to make things up like this lady did. Although didn't get away with it with our insurance company, but did with hers. So the issue with dash cams that I have and all this stuff is it cuts both ways. When somebody screws up and causes an accident, causes you to be in an accident, it's great to have it. But if you're the one that caused it, or there's any ambiguity about who caused it, these recordings can cut against you and can work against you in court and cost you tremendously. And your own car is incriminating you, which kind of leads into, do you want to have your car testifying against you in a situation where it can force you into bankruptcy or cost you everything? So you got to know when you're talking about dash cams or even this black box technology, there's going to be no more ambiguity. There's going to be no more lying. It's all going to come out. And then it's going to be subject to what people see on the recordings or see in the data. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm all about the truth, but having some other feature that's incriminating us, it raises some questions as well. How about number 5, intelligent speed assistance? Now, this is frustrating because it's already acquired in Europe, and they're moving aggressively on this. So all the new vehicles in EU must include this, and they say it's coming here as quickly as 2027 with some legislation and pressure on the automakers. Speed limit recognition, we already have that on some of our cars. I know in my wife's new Land Rover, it tells us the speed limit constantly. Same with the BMW. I set manually those. Like in my Lamborghini, I set because it's so easy to speed in that thing, so it warns me. Audible warnings when speeding, resistance on the accelerator pedal, navigation-linked speed systems. So I'm fine with these being optional for you to do, for you to set on your car, and I set them on my cars just to give me a little beep reminder so I don't find myself speeding and end up with tickets. But if it's a mandatory thing and it's constantly screaming at us every time we go a mile or 2 over the speed limit, that's going to be irritating, and that's a little bit too much control, I think. How about number 6? I'm fine with this one, but it's more technology, and it's, I always say that a lot of this technology is created for the dumbest of the dumbest, and if they build things around the dumbest people in the world, then everybody's going to be okay. But if they built cars for the smartest people in the world, we wouldn't need any of this stuff. So in this case, people who leave their kids in their back seat, leading to the death, need this. And I'll tell you, raising our kid, that never happened. So it could never have happened, but it's happened to people. And I say, well, this feature is not that bad. It's cabin radar sensors. I have that in the Prius, but here's the deal in the Prius. If I leave my backpack or my briefcase in the back seat, I get notified not only as I'm getting out of the car, but then my phone messages me after I leave the car to check my back seat. So, I guess it's good for these people who forget that they have children. Motion detection, okay, it's better. Automatic alerts, smartphone notifications, horn lights activating automatically. Let me know what you think about that. Should we have that one? How about this? Cybersecurity requirements. This is interesting because at this point, these cars are all computers, which is another reason why they depreciate so bad. And now with computers, like any computer we all have, they get hacked. Our phones get hacked. I mean, our computers get hacked. Well, it's kind of dangerous if they can hack into the ECU in your car or the computer in your car, especially if it's got all these other features, and make it think things are happening that aren't happening. So increased cybersecurity, secure over-the-phone updates, protection against hacking, encrypted vehicle systems, cybersecurity management systems, especially important with EVs. How about number 8? Mandatory alcohol interlock discussions. Now, we talked about that number 1, but some lawmakers and safety groups are pushing for passive breath monitoring. So what if somebody else in your car is buzzed? Maybe they got a blow into that thing. Maybe we all have breathalyzers on our car. I don't know. Touch-based alcohol sensors, steering wheel alcohol detection. Not mandated, but actively being researched. So stay tuned for that one. Number 9, expanded ADAS requirements. Advanced driver assistance systems likely to become more standardized. Lane keeping, blind spot monitoring, cross-traffic braking, intersection collision avoidance, automatic emergency steering. As a dad with a kid who just had an accident, who somebody turned in front of her, maybe some of these features would have saved her from that. There's lots of negatives about this stuff, but how many lives could be saved? And maybe that accident wouldn't have happened if that other lady had some of these features, would have warned her about the cross traffic before she was able to barrel into oncoming traffic. I don't know. And number 10, EV-specific future requirements, battery fire monitoring, battery health reporting, charging compatibility standards, cybersecurity certification, pedestrian warning sounds, because they're silent, and I know they have had those for a while, but they're talking about making all these things even more mandatory with the battery health reporting and the fire monitoring and compatibility coming in next year. So here's the deal. More cameras, more sensors, more driver monitoring, more software control, more remote diagnostics, more data collection. That's the big thing. They'll know everything about us. And then here's what happens. You've got the concerns of privacy, governmental overreach, insurance company access. That's the one that's going to get us. Remote disabling concerns, subscription features, and surveillance. So we're heading into a world where, imagine this is concerning. Our insurance company now says, we'll give you a discount if you allow us to monitor your driving. So you're going to give us codes to access your car computer so we can see how often you speed, how often you hard brake or make rough turns. We'll know what kind of driving you do, and then we're going to insure you based on that. And the fun gets completely taken out of the cars. Now, I'm not advocating for reckless driving or anything crazy, but taking off fast, insurance companies start to come up with algorithms that they're going to determine are leading indicators to people having accidents. And now we're all paying higher insurance because of how we drive, if we like to take off. So I don't know about all this stuff. I'd love to hear what you think in the comment section below. What do you think about these features coming? And this is just the beginning. We're talking like as early as 2027. Imagine what's going to happen by 2030. We're going to be driving around in just fully bugged cars. So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.